Good evening, guys. I hope you guys are enjoying the time that I'm not in class right now. So this last weekend we covered solving one-step equations, and we actually went in detail by giving the properties that we used and all that information. So we're going to be doing the same thing now, except for now we're going to be putting two-step equations together here, and we're going to be solving those. So we're going to start again. Here's our properties again. You got addition property of equality, commutative property of addition. These are all the same as what we dealt with the other day. You have the additive inverse property, the multiplicative inverse property as well. So when we get to an example like example 1, you have 3 times x minus 6 equals negative 1. Now again, whenever you're solving, you're working on doing PEMDAS backwards. So I'd want to get rid of the minus 6 first. So I'm going to start, and again, I apologize, I do not have my pen, so I'm trying to do this with a mouse, which is extremely difficult. So I'm going to add 6 to both sides. And what allows me to do this is going to be the addition property of equality. I'm actually going to make this a little bit smaller. Let's see, let's go with 20. That'll work. So that's my addition property of equality. I'm going to go ahead and draw my line here. Now, from this point, I know that negative 6 and 6. Okay. When I simplify this, I'm going to get 3x. This gives me 0. And that equals 5, and the reason why is because that would be the, let me type this one in here, this would be the additive inverse property, and that's going to go right there. And then from here we're going to take this down, and this is 3x equals 5. And for this one, you have your additive identity. Now from here, we have to get rid of the multiplying by 3, so I have to divide by 3. And that is going to be the multiplication property of equality. And that goes with that step. And then from here, we know that 3 divided by 3 is 1. This gives me 1x equals 5 thirds, and that is thanks to the multiplicative inverse. Property. And that is way off. There we go. Inverse property. And then we also know that 1 times x is just going to give me x equals 5 thirds. And I'll go ahead and put my box around the answer. Slide this down. And change this. Oh, I guess I'll have to delete it. Hold on just a second. And there would be my answer. And that one would be thanks to the multiplicative identity. So now I've solved a two-step equation, and in doing this I've given you these steps, what properties fulfill each step, allow me to complete each step. So and if you notice, we actually just kind of combined the two together when we did the one steps. The properties that were applicable to the addition and subtraction, and then the properties that were applicable to the multiplication and division, we just kind of combined the two, and you just end up having to use both. When we get to example number 3, it's going to be the same process. So I'm going to subtract 2 to both sides, and in doing this, this is going to be the addition property, I'm going to abbreviate now, of equality. Alright, so that takes me from our given to my first step. And I'm just going to type something in here since I just messed it up. So from here we get x over 3 plus 0 equals 2. And let me go ahead and adjust this one now. This was the additive inverse property. And we'll put that one right there. And now we're going to get rid of the 0, so we get x over 3 equals 2. And I'm able to get rid of the 0 thanks to the addition, or additive identity property. And that's going to go there. And then from here we have to do the opposite of dividing by 3, so I'm going to multiply both sides by 3, and these are going to, so to do that, that is going to take me to actually going to go ahead and do both properties here. You have the multiplicative property of equality, and I also included the multiplicative inverse properties there. And 3 divided by 3 is going to give me 1x equals 6. And actually that's where the multiplicative inverse takes into place, because 3 divided by 3 is 1. And then from here you get x equals 6. And that last property then is our multiplicative identity. Okay, and again, same idea, just putting those properties together with the solving of the equation, and that gives us the equation of x equals 6, or excuse me, the answer of x equals 6. Now, when we get to example number 3, this problem obviously looks a little bit different than the first two, and they're probably a little bit different than what we've seen so far. So, when I look at this problem, and I was to do PEMDAS, if I told you to simplify, I wouldn't do the division first, because the division is underneath the x and the 3. So in this case, I would actually have to multiply this side by 2 and this side by 2. Okay, and again, this is our multiplication property of equality, and that will take care of going from our given to our first step. The 2 and the 2's will give me 1, and this is 1 times x minus 3 equals 6. And that again should be our multiplicative inverse. And then from here, 1 times anything is just what you have. So now you've got just x minus 3 equals 6. And that will be our multiplicative identity. And that goes there. And then from here, we're going to add 3 to both sides. And again, I truly do apologize. You guys are going to have to make sure you're paying very close attention to what I'm saying this time. because my writing with this mouse is not exactly the greatest right now. So that gives us x plus 0 equals 9. Let me redo that equal sign. And then that would go under the additive property of equality. That would be that step. And then this one here would be the additive inverse property. And then the last one then is that we get x plus 0 is just x, so we get x, oh my goodness, that's terrible. We get x equals 9. And that one there will be the additive identity. And that would be our last step, and then we get our answer of x equals 9. I hope this worked out okay for you guys. Again, remember, if you guys have any questions, to make sure you send me a message through the website, and you guys will be doing work on this tomorrow in class. So have a great night, and we'll see you guys when I get back.